Shashi, what is ESC3? And then we can move on to the practicals.
Yeah. So this is one of the certificate that I found was difficult to understand. And my fellow pen testers are also finding this particular ESC3 to understand why this is, what is the misconfiguration and why we are able to exploit this. So for our audience, let me just simplify it. So let's suppose you have a smart card, and using that smart card you are going to IT administrator for verification. Then that IT administrator will send a verification request on your behalf. Okay. So let's suppose if somehow you can become that IT administrator, then you can send a verification request for any of the user, right? On behalf of any user. You can send for normal user or administrator user.
Any user.
So this IT administrator, let's call it as enrollment agent in case of ADCS. So if we have the certificate of an enrollment agent, then we can ask certificates for any of the on behalf of any user.
Any user. If we have that.
If we have the enrollment agent certificate.
Agent certificate. Okay.
Yeah. So there are two requirements here. Basically, we need two templates here. First one, which is the template of the enrollment agent, and the second thing, using that enrollment agent certificate, we can request another template. Using the another template, we can request a certificate for that template using the enrollment agent certificate. So this certificate must have the client authentication enabled. So that using this template, we can request a certificate for this template on behalf of another user. So that's what ESC3 is. Using enrollment agent certificate, we are exploiting another certificate on behalf of some another user.
Okay, understood.
And which is the another user we are going to target again?
Domain admin. Right. So it's kind of like a man in the middle, right?
Yeah, not particularly man in the middle. But you can say
are chaining two templates, right?
Okay. So these are the two requirements for two of the certificates. So the first one is that on the enrollment agent template, first thing, the low privilege user can request the certificate, and the second thing is that the template has certificate request agent EKU or any purpose EKU. We know that any purpose means everything. So it also has the certificate request agent. But the main thing here is the certificate request agent EKU set on the certificate template to be vulnerable for ESC3. And the second template should have the first thing, that we have the low privilege user can request the certificate, and the certificate we request will allow for client authentication. And there is already a built-in certificate in ADCS, which is the user template. So using this certificate, enrollment agent certificate, we can request a certificate for the user template on behalf of administrator user, and then using that administrator user certificate that we get from the certificate authority, we can just log in as the domain administrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's
so that's complicated. This attack is.
Let's move on to the practicals for ESC3.
Yeah. So let's same stuff, enumeration, then we'll do exploitation, and then we will get to the domain admin credentials. Okay, let's do that. So again, let's start with enumeration. Okay. So this certificate is vulnerable to ESC4. Maybe in the next podcast we can talk about ESC4 in any of the upcoming podcast. But let's focus on the ESC3. So we have this template here, which name is EA template. I have kept it as EA. Why? For enrollment agent template to simplify it. But it can have any name, and it is enabled. If you see, this certificate particularly is not enabled for client authentication, but the enrollment agent is set to true. Okay, and it don't have this enrollee supply subject. It just have an enable true, and enrollment agent is set to true. And most important thing is, if you look at the permissions, enrollment permissions, low privilege users can enroll in this template. So let's enroll in this template. And let me also, I think you are not seeing the user template. Why? Because it's not vulnerable by default. So let me just remove this vulnerable flag here. And if you see, now you can see there are many more templates. If you see, there is another template which is called user, which is enabled, and it can be used for client authentication. So using the previous template, the EA template, we can get certificate as domain administrator for this user template, and we can authenticate to the domain. So these are the two templates that we are going to require. Okay. So let's do that. Again, same tool. I think shout out to the contributor of this tool, which is Oliver Lack. So shout out to him for creating such a wonderful tool. Certify request. User will be David. Password will be, yeah, let me just use the same command. Okay, I think it's removed. This time we will ask for the EA template, which is the enrollment agent template. Okay, I think things are okay. I think I made a mistake here. It is not the name of the template. We have to put the name of the CA, which is secure CA, and we see how secure this certificate authority. Like when I'm laughing, because I'm not laughing at my lab, I'm laughing at the engagement that I'm seeing. Same thing is happening there. Okay, I think let's request the certificate for this enrollment agent template. Yeah, now we have a certificate of this enrollment agent template. The name of the certificate is david.ppfx. It means that David user is now the enrollment agent here.
Okay.
Because they have acquired the certificate using the EA template, which is the enrollment agent template. Now they have become an enrollment agent. Okay. And now they can request a certificate on behalf of any other user using another certificate that allows for client authentication.
Okay. So again, now you're going to be targeting the user
template, okay, which is the by default template that we'll see. So certify request. And then we will use the same user. I am again requesting for another certificate. Add the rate, then template. We can define user template. Name of the CA is the secure CA. Target tc02.security.redfox.local. I hope all things are good. Yeah, now the most important thing is that on behalf of flag, on behalf of which target user, which is the target user again? Administrator. Security / administrator. So actually I have two domains and both have administrator. That's why I'm using the security NetBIOS name here. Administrator. Okay. And which certificate we are going to use? The David certificate, which is the enrollment agent certificate. Okay.
Just a few spelling. I think the password for David.
Okay. Oh yeah, got correct. What? Anyway, let me just again type it. On behalf administrator, and then name of the certificate, which is again David certificate, and let's change the password real quick. I think now all the things are looking good. Template, EA template, CA, secure CA. Target is the domain controller. On behalf of the administrator, we are requesting a certificate and we are using the enrollment agent certificate. So let's enter. And looks like we have an error here. Let's see at least what is that? Certificate enable initial. The request was made on behalf of subject other than the caller here. So let me see what's the mistake here. Secure administrator. Ideally should work, but looks like the demo gods are not helping here. Administrator on behalf of maybe any mistake in the previous command. Yeah. David password correct. Yeah, looks correct. I think. Not sure why. Let's see.
I think template user.
Yeah, that's the mistake. Nice catch. Correct here. If you see. So now we are requesting template using the user template. We are requesting a certificate on behalf of administrator user. And why we can do that? Because we have the certificate of the enrollment agent here. Now quickly hit enter, and now we have the certificate of the domain administrator. And let's again we can same thing. If we want to get the TGT, we can just use certify auth. Using the administrator certificate, we can just get the NTLM hash or the TGT of the domain administrator.
Very nice.
So yeah, these are the attacks, and let me just quickly show the prevention part. Yeah. So to preventing, let me just again go to the domain controller here, and I think the name of the certificate was EA template. I think what we can do here, I think the first option that we can enable is that if you go to properties, and I think there is enrollment. I think in the enrollment agents, if you see by default it doesn't restrict any enrollment agent. So what we can do, we can enable the enrollment, restrict the enrollment rights, and we can define which enrollment agents, which are the enrollment agents we want. So here instead of everyone, you can just add another one. Let's write, let's say maybe you have a high privilege user group.
Domain admins.
I don't have any, so I can use domain admins. But what sysadmins they can do, they can just create another group like enrollment agents group, because if we are using a domain administrator for all of the purposes, then they might do some misconfiguration.
It'll be a bit risky.
Yeah, but in my case, I'm just because I don't have any such group, that's why I'm just using the domain administrators. But based on the requirement, they can enable domain admins as well. Just a preference. And let's remove this everyone from here. And the certificate templates, let's add our own certificate template, which is the EA template here. So let's enable, let's choose this one and just remove this option. Yeah, I think these are enough. If you apply OK, and let's go to the template settings. Yeah, manage, and if you go to the again, which is that I think yeah, EA template, properties. So if you see this one, in this case it's not set to this option, which we saw in the case of ESC1 and 2. So default setting is this one, so which is correct in our case. And let's go to the security property, and in this we look at the security descriptors. We have this again. What's it doing here? This doesn't make sense. So let's remove this one. Remove this one as well. Remove this one as well. I think yeah, this is pretty cool, pretty okay. And if you see the EKU set here is certificate request agent. That's why it's a high level, high privilege certificate template, because it can request certificate on behalf of anyone. Okay. I think the settings are set. Let's switch back to the Kali box and let's find it. And if you see, we don't have okay, I think let's just enable the vulnerable flag, just so that it will not show all the certificate template and it will be easier to see. So let's do that. Yeah, so there is just one certificate which is vulnerable to ESC4. Let's keep it for some other podcast. But if you see, now the ESC3 also prevented here.
So EA template doesn't show up, yeah.
Yeah, EA template doesn't show up. So this is how you can prevent this ESC3, which is the exploitation of the certificate agent certificate template.